guys and you know, really wants to boost a lot of little guys and haste in. This one's got 2 Crater Hoof Behemoths. He's got Huntmaster of the Fells and Centaur Healer, which you're not a huge fan of Centaur Healer.
I just don't know why there's.
Decks.
I'm not a huge. I don't know why there's one. And also, in a turn 1, Blood Crypt and a Faithless Looting. This is not so much a the Reanimator decks aren't. They have a Reanimator package, but they're much more of a graveyard value deck than they are a Reanimator deck in the strictest sense. It's very rare that they're just ramping into a huge guy on turn 4. It's more about attritioning out and using their graveyard as a huge resource.
Like Lingering Souls, just randomly flipping it with Mulch or Grizzly Salvage.
Yeah.
Oh, so Juan Pablo was down to 6. I'm actually... How bad would his hand have to have been for him to just ship 2 life there? That's actually the question. Or how good is his hand that he can ship 2 life?
It probably means his curve is pretty tight, would be my guess.
Okay.
And there's a Mulch showing Temple Garden, Blood Crypt, Hooves, and an Overgrown Tomb.
Doesn't get much better than that, right? So he's got a huge target that he set up and drew 3 cards.
And then Burial Rites would be nice in there, but yeah, that's quite a nice Mulch.
So 4 power on West Wise's side. At least 4 coming over. And West probably is looking for 6 this turn, right?
Yeah. And I think he's probably without... The question now is, does he even have red mana? There it is. So he has a Blood Crypt.
And in for 4.
Passes the turn
Pass.
back. This would be a very good turn for the 1 Centaur Healer, that's for sure.
They have more Centaur Healers in the sideboard? No, it doesn't look like it.
Just another juicy Reanimator target.
So what's up with... Can you explain Deathrite Shaman to me? Why is it in the sideboard?
It's very good against other graveyard decks. So we have another Mulch, this time looking at Faithless Looting. Gets 1 land, I assume a Huntmaster.
Huntmaster, yeah, I think.
Another Looting and a Farseek. So a little less impressive than the last one.
And he's going to play a land and then pass, right? But no discounted on Burial Rites yet, so I mean, the difference between 4 and 5 is actually pretty significant.
Yes.
And Hellrider.
Yeah.
So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, down to 2.
Juan
Pablo's Babe's basically dead, right?
Yep.
I don't... What can he have?
Centaur Healer.
Puts him to 5. Huntmaster puts him to 4.
Yeah, this doesn't get him out.
No.
Hellrider will trigger 3 times, and
any unblocked creature. Could be an unblocked Signal Pest. Well, maybe not an unblocked Signal Pest. Do you think Wes is pointing at, like, this is lethal?
I'm just going to kill you.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to remember to trigger my Hellrider, and that's that. So, quick. No fuss, no muss win for West Wise under 0 resistance from Juan Pablo in the first game. Going to the sideboard, it looks like West Wise has access to Zealous Conscripts, Appetite for Brains, which I'm not a huge fan of.
It's RFG though, right?
Yeah, but it's just...
You can RFG an Unburial Rites that's in their hand.
They just don't have a million 4s. They don't have a million 4+s. It's not like the Thrag Tusk, Huntmaster...
He's got Thrag Tusk, Huntmaster, Crater Hoof, Gisela, Angel of Serenity, and Unburials. I think that Appetite for Brains is quite good.
All right. So possibly we'll see that one.
But just taking Thrag Tusk is good.
That is true. Thrag Tusk is pretty sweet.
Just wait to cast it on turn 3 or 4.
He has 2 copies of Cremate, which are pretty awesome here.
Those are sweet.
And 2 copies of Zealous Conscripts, which are also
really sweet. Yeah.
Super sweet.
I like any of those cards. And he's probably going to take out, like, Pillar's pretty terrible, right?
Yeah, Pillar, like, Spear. The spells just aren't good.
Rando garbage. So, Juan Pablo's actually in a bad spot here. Like, he's got Curse of Death's Hold, which is excellent against Wes's deck if you get 5 turns.
Yeah.
Which is a big if.
Yeah, asking a lot.
But he's got, like, Abrupt Decay. It costs 2, and you're often, like, losing tempo casting it. Not a huge fan. I think he has to bring it in.
Well, yeah, he's got to get some of the more finicky stuff out of his deck and just be able to make plays that impact the board.
I actually like Appetite for Brains in Juan Pablo's deck, too. I mean, like, Wes has got so many awesome 4s and 5s. Huntmaster, Falcon Wrath Aristocrat, Thundermaw, Hellkite. I don't want to be hit by any of those cards.
So why haven't these decks started moving appetite for brains into the main deck? I mean, it's
a really interesting question. It seems like most decks have the aggroist deck had green white is not particularly vulnerable to it.
Yes.
They don't even have Thragtusk half the time.
That's one deck that's sort of a fringe player, but
every other deck has got substantial targets, you think?
Especially, I mean, this is when I was playing Zombies last season, I was playing with Despise. The cards you're losing to are also like Thragtusk and company. Like,
yep.
So it actually attacks the things that cause you to lose games as well. So I'm a little surprised that people haven't started moving some of those copies into their main deck.
So Slayer's Stronghold in one pop. Do you like Slayer's Stronghold in this deck? I actually think it's an unnecessary stretch on the mana.
Yeah, I'm not. It feels like if you're willing to play some colorless lands, there are things that can get you a little bit more value. Like, why not play a second copy of Vault of the Archangel? It's actually quite good in a bunch of spots.
Yeah, like really, really good with your Lingering Souls, for example.
Yeah, I never quite understood the 1-in-1 spread on those kind of utility lands when they're doing entirely different things. It's, well, one of these is probably better suited for your deck, and you should be playing two.
Though, to be fair, a deck with all these mulches can find a singleton land a very disproportionate amount of the time relative to many other strategies.
Right. It's so often the debate is, you know, you would rather have one of each than
each in play
than two of either. But how insane is it for you to have both Vault and Slayer in play is not that good. So
yeah,
wouldn't you rather just have the better land most of the time?
The tonnage of mana activation requirement is just, you couldn't activate them both anyway, right?
Right. So I don't buy that argument in this instance, because it's not, man, once I have Slayer Stronghold and Vault of the Archangel in play, I have all this different powerful utility. It's like, that's not actually true.
I mean, the reality is, like, a lot of your guys are just so big and powerful they don't need any help.
No, Vault, I really like Vault in these decks because it can do a lot of work in getting you out of range once you finally start getting your powerful stuff going. Plays very well with Lingering Souls, obviously. That card I'm totally fine with. The Slayer Stronghold is...
Yeah, I mean, again, that's one I brought up originally. I think it's just an unnecessary stretch.
Yeah, I would rather have another Vault if you're going to play that kind of card. Or a third Cavern of Souls. I mean, you know what I mean? You only have 2 caverns. It's not...
I'd probably be willing to play 4 caverns instead of like some of these utility lands. When you're playing against some sort of blue-white variant, just hard casting your spells, especially if they're creature threats, is just so attractive. Make them have a real removal spell.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
It's really funny watching these Rakdos decks because, like, you know, the curve of beater, you know, the Sly style decks that we're used to seeing have a ton of spells, generally speaking. These Rakdos decks are basically just a curve of guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Like 2/2, Knight of Infamy, Geralf's Messenger, Falconwrath Aristocrat, Zealous Conscripts, done. Yeah,
the lack of spells, and it feels like the deck's obviously powerful, but it doesn't feel like there's a ton of play to maneuver around because you just have your creatures.
Yeah.
And most of them just kind of attack. That is what they do.
When I was playing black aggro decks, we would often play cards like Duress in the main deck, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, although that was a
different era.
Yeah, you had to take, when you were playing Duress and
you had
Napster,
to take their Time Spiral.
You had to take cards like Time Spiral or Grim Monolith or Tinker or, you know, Yawgmoth's Bargain or Replenish.
I have in fact taken each of those kinds of cards.
Right. It's sort of, the threats were a little bit different than, say, taking someone's Farseek. Not really in the same range of power.
I've never Duressed a Farseek to the best of my recollection. I have, however, missed with a Duress and missed with a Cabal Therapy in the same turn, which is an impressive feat.
That is pretty much impossible.
It's not impossible. Trust me. I won the game.
All right, so the turn 1 Deathrite Shaman.
So that guy came in from this. Is that just to make him faster or to gain life?
Gain life, knock off some Gravecrawler shenanigans potentially.
Oh yeah, it's great against Gravecrawler. Except he has no way to get the Gravecrawler in the graveyard.
Or ever get it back anyway, because there's like 8 zombies in the deck total. But yes, in theory it does some work. So Faithless Looting.
Discarding Craterhoof Behemoth and a mystery card. Maybe a land? Discards a land, he can like flash back the Faithless Looting next turn. Ooh, Gisela. Yeah, that one requires some reading.
Yeah. Don't let it get into play, Wes, because you are dead. don't let it get into play. I mean, he could have sideboarded in his murders, I guess. Seems reasonable.
Yeah, he sided in his murders against a smaller creature deck than this last time. Right? He murdered that Avacyn's Pilgrim.
It was a Gravecrawler.
Gravecrawler. Golgari Guildgate.
Now Farseek.
So this deck's got Farseek, Mulch, and Grizzly Salvage?
Yeah, and this is a reason why I would be a big advocate of putting more Caverns in this deck is you actually often just get all dressed up with nowhere to go. You have a ton of mana, but you're still soft to permission in the absence of Cavern.
This was like the deck, like week 1, right?
Yes.
People were frightened of this. And then they discovered Sphinx's Revelation.
Right. It's like the same thing, but better because you don't have to work.
Appetite for Braids. What do we got? It looks like a Cremate.
Aristocrat, Cremate, Giral's Messenger, and a Mountain.
Oh,
Mountain and Giral's Messenger.
Pain. How many mountains in his deck? 1?
1.
Ugh. Disgusting.
Ugh. It's like a dagger through my heart looking at
horrible.
that mountain. I'm not saying that it's wrong to play that mountain. I'm saying that it would never be me. That's all.
You would just not have it?
I would just not have it. There's no way.
What if someone had Path to Exile?
Irrelevant.
They don't have Path to Exile.
Yeah, it's irrelevant anyway.
You just go get Swamp, right? And live. Yeah, that's just... Oh.
This is a disaster.
I mean, if he had hit the Giral's Messenger, it still wouldn't be very good.
It would be better than this. Not, Deathrite, this is another place where Deathrite Shaman does work as Giral's Messenger.
And West Wise rips a Sun. Is that a land?
Yeah, it's a
Dragon Skull Summit?
Yeah, it looks like a summit.
And thinking. I mean, is it... What are they arguing about?
I'm not sure. Well, maybe if you remembered the gain life trigger. I don't think you can remember to put the wolf into play and not remember to gain the life because it's all part of the same trigger.
Probably ship 4 instead of casting Giral's Messenger here, right?
Oh, you gotta do Aristocrat, I think.
Juan Pablo's probably just gonna pass the next turn, flip to a 4/4. Take somebody out.
Yeah. Then you can Shaman away the Gravecrawler. Yeah.
I like that play. Really?
Oh yeah, he wants to Shaman it right. I mean, he has a spot to Shaman it.
Oh, I see. I thought he should have sent the Falcon Wrath Aristocrat.
Maybe he wants a little more protection for it.
So,
Humph.
What does he get for that? 2 lives?
I believe so.
It's removing a sorcery makes you nug for 2, right?
Yeah, Deathrite Shaman does it all.
It's a very good card. So.
And now we're gonna be able to Master,
wow,
shoot down the messenger, yeah.
Insane. And removal.
Yeah.
Wes must have seen that. Why didn't he make this Falcon Wrath Aristocrat?
He might have been hoping that his opponent didn't see it.
I think it's time for next game. This is.
I mean, yeah, we are in some serious
deep
trouble now.
Problems. 4/4 and I mean a 4/4 by itself is tough enough for a red.
Yeah, it's not easy.
So Aristocrat probably in for 4.
And if Juan Pablo ever draws, like an Burial Rites or even just like Thragtusk from this spot, it's really hard to win.
Plays a regular land and taps 3 lands for Faithless Looting. Oh, do you think he's gonna try to like downsize his
Maybe.
Ravager of the Fell so he can flip it back up?
Why not?
I think so.
It's pretty awesome here, right? Just clearing out the Aristocrat. Oh, no follow-up.
No follow through. I mean, Wes is drawing all lands now that he needed on turn 3. Appetite for Brains and
Is that a looting?
yeah, miss.
I'm surprised Juan didn't loot again.
Yeah, I thought if it were me, I think I would have probably tried to flip it back down. I think Wes must not have Pillar of Flame in his deck right now.
No, and I'm assuming it's going to be coming back in for.
Agreed. That guy has put in quite a bit of work this game.
Yeah, no shortage of work. Oh boy.
Lingering Style. Probably just flash this back immediately, right?
Yeah.
Is he frightened of flipping over his wolf?
I mean, maybe. Yeah, he's not even playing around Bonfire at this point because Bonfire still kills everything.
So, and then
Slingering Souls twice.
he might as well just like play the Faithless Looting with his.
No, I'm happy to
turn?
not loot at this point because you can also just, if he draws a Blythe next turn, he just gets to rip through more of his deck. He's just not trying to turn over stuff in his graveyard. At this point, it's more about
Yeah, I mean his
card
battlefield
quality.
is fine.
Yeah.
Wes has a Cremate, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Just fizzle
Insult
that.
to injury. Oh, no draw.
Yeah. Death Right Shaman is
Oh, wow.
just an unfathomable beating.
That guy is really good. Have you seen him working in Legacy as well?
Oh my yes.
What's he do there? Nothing.
Everything.
Everything? No more Cephalid deck, huh?
He's pretty good with fetch lands. So his power level is a little bit different in Legacy than he is in other formats. He's very good with fetch lands.
But he's still awesome against like
It's just awesome. The card's awesome.
Entomb.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, unlike most anti-graveyard cards, you can definitely play it main. You can definitely build around it. Right? So, it wouldn't surprise me for Denver if I really had basically no graveyard hate in my sideboard because I think Deathbright Shaman just takes care of. It's really hard to rationalize, I think, showing up with a deck like Reanimator when there's just Force of Will, Thoughtseize Control decks that also have Deathbright Shaman. It's like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, they're in all the bug lists.
Right. You gotta be out of your mind to try to reanimate. So I might just have 0 Crypts / Relics in Denver because of that card.
Everybody else is going to do enough work for you.
Yes. I
like
believe
it.
so. So going back to the sideboard here, I assume we're going to be seeing those
Pillars back.
pillars and maybe Searing Spears. Probably didn't cut those, but in case he did, I think he just wants his cheap red removal now, having
He needs it.
haven't gotten the Deathbright Shaman experience. Killing Gravecrawler permanently, Drawless Messenger didn't come back, Cremate got fizzled. I mean, it's like...
It sounds like an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, it's just, every horrible thing that could happen to West that game through Deathbright Shaman occurred.
Right now, what's he thinking about? Really need those Pillar of Flames back in.
Yeah.
So what's going to be out? So I think he probably has Zealous Conscripts in his deck.
Yeah, I would have to assume so. Although, again, it's not as simple as it just being a Reanimator deck, Reanimator in quotes. I mean, Juan Pablo can definitely grind the board down with just Master of the Fells and Centaur Healer type cards. He doesn't necessarily have to play into Zealous Conscripts. Conscripts is still probably good enough to bring in, but it's not. Lingering Souls does a lot of work protecting himself against.
It's not like if you took Emrakul the Aeons.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. It'll have spots of being good, but there's also plenty of spots where Zealous Conscripts is just not going to be what the game is about. So it's not guaranteed to be an ace.
Maybe that's just too much variance. Maybe he shouldn't play it then. It unevens his early games.
I don't know what too much variance means. I'm happy to let it ride at all times.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
What I mean is, like, maybe it's better to not have two of those in my opening hand sometimes.
Sure, but the same thing is true of like most of any 5, right?
Yeah, and he's got other 5s. I agree. I don't think we're at odds here.
Sure.
That sandwich is pretty good. I was actually surprised.
Jimmy John's put in some work.
Yeah,
that was good.
It's good bread. Props to Jimmy John's.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Big shout out.
Thanks, Jimmy.
You guys make a good sandwich.
Not a lot of meat though.
A little skimpy. A lot of lettuce.
Yeah, a lot of lettuce.
A lot of lettuce.
Do you eat tomatoes? I took mine off. I don't like.
I
tomatoes
usually
on
don't.
sandwiches.
I let them on because I just didn't want to bother, but I'm usually anti-tomato.
I mean, I like tomatoes and other things like salsa, for example. Do you like salsa? You a fan?
Yes.
Big fan of salsa. Other stuff like that, but I don't really like them on sandwiches.
Yeah.
So hopefully the game will start soon. Talk about Magic again. We haven't got. So you guys when the monitor goes up and it's just like, stop talking about basketball.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you?
No.
Or you just like chat about Street Fighter for like 5 minutes and stop talking about this. Talk about Magic.
Yeah. I was never that into Street Fighter, so.
I'm just saying about different things that Jesse and Noel can give us.
Oh no.
No, you never get.
I've never gotten
scolded?
warned. No.
Text
First time for
messages from
everything I
Evan
get.
Irwin.
Nope. Never happened.
Oh, I'm Patrick Sullivan. I'm an angel.
I didn't say that, man. You asked me if it happened. I'm telling you, no, it has never happened. I don't know, how you run your shows or whatever, but I'm just saying it's never. I'm just saying it's never happened to me.
Text messages from Evan Irwin haven't hit yet. That's happened too. What are you doing?
All right. Cavern on,
Zombie.
I presume zombie.
Yep.
Facilitating it for turn 1 diagraph.
Diagraph ghoul. Well, Pablo hasn't even finished looking at his hand yet. Wait. And
There's a
Deathrite Shaman.
Pretty gutsy to
Pay 2.
Yeah. Again, unless his curve's really tight.
I mean, same thing he did last game. Oh, I'm sorry, game 1, where he paid 2 on Faithful Suiting on the first turn.
Yep.
Quickly put him in trouble,
Yep.
Is that the Guild Gate?
That's a guild gate.
So, Wes's hand might stink.
No, he might
Cavern
just.
Guild Gate?
I mean, he might just have to develop his mana this way. It's not necessarily bad.
So,
Some
Juan
is-
Pablo, what's he picking up his deck for?
Did he accidentally see a card or something?
I don't know. Maybe he likes shuffling. He's like,
Yeah.
he's like Kibler. He's like, every day I'm shuffling.
Maybe. I doubt the judge would come over to it. I know you really like shuffling, so you just want to pick up and give it another spin. Go ahead. All right. There's the.
Farseek?
There's the the vault of the the Slayer stronghold.
It's like he's Farseek, so now he's actually supposed to shuffle.
Yeah. What are the odds that Slayer stronghold gets activated this game? Since we're in Las Vegas,
He looked at an extra card.
I'm gonna put the odds of that thing getting activated around 10%.
Oh, I will take the under. I don't know how to understand. How do we measure this though? It either happens or it doesn't. Right?
They need to sit back and
replay the same game
100
times. I'm taking the under on it, by the way, but
whatever the line
how it's
is,
measured.
taking the under. All right, and now Geralt's Messenger, another Cavern set to zombie. Wesson off to a much better start here than he was. Deathrite Shaman so far suppressing a lot less of his action. It's not even clear if he would have killed it by now if he could. He could very easily have Pillar in his hand and still not have cast it.
Well, the way his mana's come out, he hasn't had much option yet. So this is interesting. If you have Falconroth Aristocrat, right? That's irrelevant. Juan Pablo passed. If you had a clear open to get in and then sacrifice your Geralt's Messenger and then get it back while maybe he was tapped or something, would you do it?
Yeah.
All right, so
Yes. All right, so we have Abrupt Decay on the Messenger.
oh, Slayer's Stronghold destroys your own life.
Yes.
Cannot activate.
I believe there's a lesson we've learned here.
Ugh. Just say no to. Oh, no fun. No fun. He's at 6.
He's still in some serious trouble.
I mean, anything here. Hell Rider, Falcon Wrath Aristocrat, Searing Spear.
Yeah.
Just a Searing Spear is enough, right?
Yeah.
And Hell Rider, more than enough. Yeah.
And
let that be a lesson. Slayer's Stronghold.
Probably just want to have a land that makes black or green mana. So West Wise, usually working the dealer booth at the Star City Opens.